All right, this is the Alpha Scrap Martial Arts Network coming at you with another knife review, double knife review this time. This is the Spyderco Streat Beat and also Spyderco Streat Bowie. These are some of the best fixed blades on the market for EDC use. And with EDC use, I always include carry personal protection because you never know. So whenever you're choosing an EDC blade, that should be on your list of considerations when choosing a tool. Both of these are VG10 steel, FRN handle. They both have a finger choil, very aggressive jimping on the back. Both of them are made in Japan and both are Fred Perrin designs. I believe both of them are under 5 ounces. This is a 5-inch blade. This is a 3.5-inch blade. So depending on what you want, you have 2 different options that you can choose from. Both of them showed up very sharp out of box. The sheaths are Kydex plastic. Very secure. Very secure. But they're not too tight that it's hard to actually pull out. Belt loops, you can take them off and put on whatever attachment that you want. The one thing I should point out is that neither of these blades are full tang. Do they need to be full tang? Not necessarily, as per their uses for EDC, self-protection. But I personally like full tang just for that added sense of confidence. But it's about a mid-tang, stops about right there where the jimping stops. Obviously, because of the weight and the balance, you're probably not going to be taking this into the bush. Maybe you would, I don't know. They're light, thin both ways, thin profile, concealable inside the waistband as well. So I really wouldn't change anything about the design, honestly. Full tang, yes, just because I like it. And because they're both so light, you're more apt to carry them. So a little portion on carry. Knives like this, you see that and you say, oh my goodness, yes, this is my protection blade. Now this is an exaggeration. Obviously, this is gigantic. It's a 12-inch blade. This is the cold steel Magnum Tonto, which will get its own review soon. But this is not a concealed blade. This is be very difficult to conceal for the modern user. Unless you happen to wear trench coats every day. Yes, an exaggerated example, but you are not going to be carrying this concealed. And even if you did designate it as your carry blade, I guarantee you there are going to be many, many days where you go to leave the house and you do not grab this because you say, I'm tired of messing with it, either consciously or subconsciously. But these blades, I carry them around the house because they're so light. Sometimes I forget they're there, which, you know, good or bad for that. That's a good thing, in my opinion, because you don't want to be walking around constantly adjusting your belt, right? Because that's going to tell everybody, hey, that guy's, there's something wrong with that guy, right? He keeps adjusting his belt. He keeps pulling his pants up, right? Because his pants are falling down because he doesn't have a good belt. He's carrying like, he's got like a Batman belt on him. You know, nobody wants to signal that while you're in public. Now, to end off this knife review, we have a segment that is coming to us from the shadow hand, or the third hand. And the shadow segment today, we are going to be talking about the steel, the VG10 steel. VG10 steel is one of the best steels you can get on a knife, bar none, for the everyday user. Even though it's a stainless steel, its Rockwell hardness is not too soft so that it doesn't hold an edge, but it's not so hard that it takes forever for the layman to sharpen. Something like S30V or any of the S steels, they are a hard steel, meaning they take longer to sharpen. They're arguably harder to sharpen, but it just takes longer. It's not hard to sharpen a knife, it just takes longer. So these being VG10, it's a softer steel. It takes an edge faster for any kind of home sharpening system. And the layman can also get it back to factory sharpness easier or beyond. And it's kind of a disservice to the knife industry that VG10 isn't more popular, because it is truly, saying one of a kind isn't really a truthful statement, but there's not many other steels out there like it at that price point as well. Both of these are like less than 150 bucks. That is not breaking the bank at all, especially for the extreme quality that you get. Spyderco is one of the best companies ever. But it's worth to note, from the shadow hand, think about blade maintenance. How easy is it for me to resharpen this? How easy is it for me to clean the rust off, should it get any? Something to always think about no matter what knife you get is, how easy is it for me to maintain this blade to keep it in operable condition? That concludes our shadow segment from the shadow hand. Both of these blades are getting a 10 out of 10 from me. I can't fault the design for not being full tang, so I'm not going to knock it any points. For their intended purpose, they are just about perfect. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time.